In the journey of relationships, most men focus on what they want to see rather than what they need to notice. And that's where the pain begins. In the quiet corners of attraction and romance, there are red flags so subtle, so deceptively small, that they slip right under the radar. These are not the obvious signs, the drama, the shouting, the lies. No, these are the quiet ones. The ones that don't scream but whisper. When you ignore those whispers, you eventually pay the price. In this video from Stoic Loading, we'll break down 3 subtle red flags in women that most men misunderstand. We'll analyze them through the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. This isn't about judging women, nor about bitterness. This is about awareness. It's about seeing reality for what it truly is, not what we hope it to be. Part 1. The disguised disrespect, one of the quietest, yet most dangerous red flags is subtle disrespect. Most men mistake it for harmless teasing, or just her personality. It shows up in tiny doses, small jokes at your expense, rolling eyes when you speak, or undermining you in front of friends. Now, here's the problem. Men conditioned to be nice often laugh it off. They think, oh, she's just joking. Or maybe I'm being too sensitive, but a Stoic man knows better. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." And if a woman consistently chips away at your sense of self-respect, even subtly, you need to recognize that behavior for what it is, a reflection of her character, not your worth. Disrespect rarely starts loud. It starts quietly because boundaries are tested silently before they're shattered openly. And when a man ignores those early signals, gives silent permission for the behavior to grow, a Stoic approach isn't to explode in anger or engage in drama. Instead, it's to calmly, firmly, and clearly set the boundary. If the disrespect continues, you walk away not out of ego, but out of self-respect. Because a man who doesn't honor his own boundaries will never be respected by anyone, let alone by the woman in his life. Part 2. Emotional. Chaos as a norm. The second subtle red flag is constant emotional turbulence. I'm not talking about the normal highs and lows of life. I'm talking about a consistent pattern where drama follows her everywhere. Workplace conflicts, family disputes, friend group fights, endless social media rant. To an untrained eye, this might look like bad luck, or maybe you convince yourself she just needs love and support. But a Stoic understands that external chaos is often a reflection of internal chaos. And when you connect yourself to someone whose inner world is unstable, that turbulence will eventually consume you too. Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. A woman who has trained herself to feed on chaos will react to life with volatility, not stability. And here's the dangerous part early on, that chaos can feel exciting, keeps you on your toes, keeps things unpredictable, even passionate. But over time, it becomes draining. It erodes your peace, your focus, your ability to lead your own life with clarity. A Stoic man values his peace like a warrior values his shield. He doesn't trade his mental stability for temporary excitement. He observes patterns, not words. Because at the end of the day, if drama follows her everywhere, sooner or later, it will follow you too. Part 3. Subtle entitlement. Third red flag is one that men often mistake for confidence or high standards, a quiet sense of entitlement. It doesn't always show up as loud demands or obvious gold digging. Sometimes it's in the way she assumes your time, your energy, or your resources without acknowledgement or reciprocity. For example, maybe you're always the one planning, the one calling, the one paying, the one fixing problems. She doesn't demand it outright, but it's expected. You feel it even if it's never spoken. And when you pause to see if that energy is being matched, you realize it's not. This is where Stoic wisdom becomes your compass. Seneca said, "He suffers more than necessary who suffers before it is necessary." A man who ignores subtle entitlement suffers needlessly because he convinces himself that's just how relationships are. But relationships built on imbalance breed resentment. A Stoic man doesn't demand perfection, but he does demand balance. Love, effort, and respect must be mutual. Because when you continually overinvest in someone who underinvests in you, You're not being loving, you're being self-destructive. The Stoic mindset shift now. Let's be clear. This isn't about bitterness or adopting a cynical view of women. These red flags don't make a woman bad or evil. They simply mean that she's not aligned with the kind of relationship a grounded, disciplined, self-respecting man should build. Stoicism teaches that we can't control others. We can only control ourselves. The point is not to judge, but to observe without attachment, see things as they are. It's not as your emotions want them to be. A man who masters this mindset will never be blindsided by subtle red flags again. He'll calmly step back, assess, and make decisions rooted in reason, not in fear or loneliness. And that's the mark of a truly strong man, not one who avoids relationships, but one who enters them with eyes wide open. Closing thoughts, remember these 3 subtle red flags most men miss. Disguised disrespect. It starts quiet but grows louder if unchecked. Emotional chaos, consistent instability is a sign of deeper patterns, a lack of balance in effort, respect, or energy. The purpose of spotting these signs is not to build walls, but to build wisdom, to navigate relationships with clarity, self-respect, and emotional discipline. Because at the end of the day, Stoic man understands this simple truth. A relationship should add to your peace, not subtract from it. And when you live by that standard, you don't just protect your heart, you'll elevate your life. Welcome to Stoic Loading, where we don't chase illusions. We seek truth. We seek strength. Above all, we seek peace.